Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this crisscross blouse resonates with you, stay tuned. Let me take you through the process of how it is made. Alright, first of all, I'll draft my pattern on fold. I've already have some part that I've marked. My neck width is 3 by 3 inches. I came down for my shoulder slope by 1.5 inches. My shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waistline. Now I'll go ahead and mark out my dart leg, which is 4 inches. Okay, the next thing I'll do is mark my contour lines. Now from the center front, I'll go in from that leg 1 inch. Okay, then on the other side I'll be going out by 1.5 inches. I'll contour these lines to my bust point. All right, after that, when marking this curve, please make it well curved, okay, not too pointy. I'll go ahead and mark out my princess dart line from the armhole. Okay, I went up by 3 inches. You can decide to go up depending on your choice. Now I'll mark the other one by 1 inch difference. I'll mark it straight to my bust point. Now the next thing I will do is mark out my bust measurement, round circumference measurement, and mark that. I will also mark my under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll mark that out. Okay, here I don't want to include the that intake, but if you are not doing the way I am measuring it, you can mark all together and also include your dart intake. I'll also go ahead and join the lines together, not forgetting that I will later go ahead and increase my princess dart leg up. Okay, so please mark your lines very well so as to avoid confusion. Next thing you do is mark out your side bust dart. Okay, the difference between your front and back, that's 2 inches. I'll mark it. I'll extend my princess dart leg and join it to my bust line. Okay, when I'm done doing this, I'll trace it out so that it imprints on the other half of the front. Once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and mark it out so that I'll be able to start doing my alterations. All right. Okay. Please be reminded that these markings must be on fold. It must be on fold, and whatever you do at the right side must be done at the left as well. Okay, don't be in a hurry to make these draftings, because the drafting is the basic thing. All right, now for my alterations, I'll go ahead and mark out where I want my crisscross to end. If you want more exposure, you can go down. If you want it to be okay, you can go up. The next thing I'll do now is go out by 1/2 inch from the neck line. Okay, 1/2 inches, and go from the shoulder line, shoulder slope. I'll come in by 2 inches. You can do 1.5, you can do 1 inches, depending on how bold you want it to be. Go ahead and label your lines to avoid confusion. Then the next thing is to determine where you want it, the crisscross, to start it crossing. Once you have determined that, I did it at my chest line. Okay, the next thing I'll do is blend it very well straight to the bust point. Now for this other crisscross, I'll use my armhole rule to blend it to the armhole line. Okay, just like I'm doing here. Now your alterations is finished. You don't need to do any other thing here. If you still want other alterations, you can go ahead and do it. All right, now once you are done, you cut out your pattern. All right, this is me folding my side dart, difference between my bust darts. Okay, now there is something I want to do. From my original design, there is a black crepe I used to spice it up. I'll go ahead after doing this now. I'll go ahead and show how that was attached, how I drafted it into my pattern. If you don't want to add any color or anything to it, you are free to just cut your fabric just this way, but in double. Okay, in double, just as it is like this, you are free to make it this way. Just take this to your pattern paper, your fabric, and cut it. But if you want to make alterations, probably invite a plain material, you can go ahead. Okay, now I will join them together so that I will cut it, because if I'm to cut it differently, there will be a difference, and that difference might be very brutal when I'm actually making the dress. So this is me now joining them together with tape, and I'll go ahead and draft out the bandwidth of that black fabric. Okay, now I'm doing mine depending on how the width of, see, this is 3 inches, the width of the sleeve, this tiny strap. I will take it that 3 inches down to the armhole, then I'll cut it out. What I'm cutting out now is the black design you saw there. I'll use this armhole line to blend it very well and cut it out. So now my fabric is in 3 pieces, of which this is just the left hand side of the fabric. I'll go ahead and double this to make it 2. Okay, so whenever I'm cutting it on fold to appear 2. Alright, so this is how I made it. In my next video, I'll be showing how all this is being cut out so that you will see it. This is me going ahead to draft my back bodice. Why I'm showing these back bodice is to show how the shoulder slope aligns with that of the front. Alright, just mark out your normal standard bodies from your line, neckline, your armhole, you join it, then go ahead and mark your shoulder to bust and shoulder to waistline. You do your basic contouring, which is your zip bulge elimination. Okay, once you remove your zip bulge elimination, you go ahead and mark your dart leg. Alright, I always use 0.75. Once I use half inch, it doesn't give me what I want, so 0.75. And notice that my dart leg start from the original center back. Okay, half inches for that intake. Alright, and I'll go ahead and cut this now. Remember, at the front I went in from the neckline by half inch, so I'll bring my front pattern and mark out the width. Okay, now I'll draw that. Once I've done marking out the width, I will join that to my chest line. Now this chest line depends on the alterations, how you want it, how tiny you want the back or how bold. If you want it to be normal, you have to draw your line straight and join it to the armhole. If you want to go deeper, it's still your choice. Alright, so once you are done with this, I'll mark out my armhole, the one I prefer, because I want it covered. So I will join this line now back to the armhole, and I'll mark out my measurement. I'll measure my round bust measurement, my waist measurement, and I'll mark it. Now for contouring, I shouldn't have cut out, when cutting out, I shouldn't have cut out the pattern from this full paper, because once you fold, I don't want to cut pieces the back. Once you fold that, there will be a gap at the end, so I went ahead to add a paper at the bottom so that you add back the shortage. Go ahead and mark your zip allowance 1 inches, cut it and place on your fabric. In my next video, I'll be sharing with us how this material is being sewn. Okay, step by step on how it is sewn. Please stay tuned. You can subscribe, share, like. It encourages me to do more. Thank you. Bye.